All right, I think we're ready to make it official. So hello, good morning and welcome. My name is Rafał Motriuk, I'm a broadcaster. Thank you. I'll be your host today, so thank you very much for having me again. This is Code Dive, and it is now officially open. I'd like to welcome everybody gathered here in the New Horizons cinema today, as well as our friends who are watching online. We have grown so much over those years, and let me say we are people of all possible nations, creeds and ages. And today I'd like to have a special welcome from everybody to our youngest participant ever. She is 10 and her name is Rebecca. A big hand for Rebecca, please. Thank you. It's the 11th time that Nokia has organized Code Dive for us, and to mark the start of its pre-teen years, Code Dive is going back to the roots. Catch my drift? We're going back to the roots. A dad joke number one this morning, thank you. And we are going back to the roots in a figurative meaning as well, because we will be focusing on C++. It was this language, C++, that was the inspiration for this conference 11 years ago. And so our special feature today is this magnificent recycled cardboard tree. Initially, we thought we'd get a real tree with real roots to really hone in on this year's theme, but then we decided we are too eco-friendly, so we got this beauty. And as you can see, it is decorated with carrots, which are also roots. That joke number two. So here at Code Dive, we believe in supportive working environment, and we are not great fans of sticks, and so the carrots are our encouragement for the speakers to perform, and you, the audience, to show extra enthusiasm. On a more serious note, a Globi ISO C++ standard committee, also organized by Nokia, has just ended, which is why we managed to bring to Code Dive this year the brightest C++ minds. Although C++ will dominate our conference, one of the rooms will explore other state-of-the-art technologies such as cybersecurity, no-code tools, communication and productivity. Now, Code Dive, as you know, is an excellent opportunity to network and exchange experiences, and this conference, of course, is mainly for the professionals, but there will be also talks for beginner programmers. Recordings of all the talks, current and past, are and will be available on our YouTube channel. And this year we have 3 conference rooms, 28 speakers, 24 lectures, 6 lighting talks, and 1 much-loved lunch break. After the conference, there will be an after party at Szklarnia Cocktail Bar. You can walk there, it's literally 7 minutes away. When it comes to snacks and food stations, there's a Pan Pretzel on the 2nd floor. Downstairs, there's a cinema cafe and also a bike cafe and a bakery, Gorąco Polecam. And now, in line with our tradition, we are starting our first networking event. So on my count, I'd like to shout out your name, then your job, and on 3, your favorite programming language other than C++. So just to give you an example, I know, what is there to say? But you can still stay silent if you don't have one. So in my case, it will be Rafał Broadcaster Python. Ready? 1, 2. Very long titles, thank you. And 3. Okay, I heard JavaScript. I don't know about the reaction of the room, but we will check your faces later. We will analyze them on the recording. Now, a quick question for me. How much did you pay for this conference? Exactly. This conference is free, so may I ask everyone to please put your hands together and thank our organizer and sponsor, Nokia. Before we begin, just very quickly, some house rules. Please put your phones on silent. It would be great if you didn't interrupt the speakers until after the talk. There will be a Q&A session after each talk, and we are using an old school method this year, so no fancy online stuff, just regular mics in the room. And this year we have a Wheel of Fortune. You win prizes by spinning the Wheel of Fortune, and you also need to answer some questions correctly. And additionally, if you'd like, you can enter a special number, and then you can take part into a special draw later. The lucky 3 winners will be announced during the closing ceremony. And last but not least, you're going to find the forest on the first floor, where you can grab yourself a free 10-minute massage. Lunch break is at 1 p.m. There is no food provided, so everyone needs to get their own. But there are several places to eat within walking distance. And now I'd like to give the floor to our panelists. So welcome. Let's welcome our keynote speakers first, and I'd like to introduce them as you can see the photographs in our slide. So let's welcome to the stage Herb Sutter. He's chair of the ISO C++ committee. Hana Dusikova. Hana is staff software engineer at Woven by Toyota. Jason Turner, he is a speaker, developer and trainer, and also the author of Jason C++ Weekly on YouTube. Bjarne Stroustrup is a member of the C++ Standards Committee. He's also a professor of computer science at Columbia University in New York City. Taras Lukaniuk, his country manager, Nokia Poland, and he's the guy who is actually paying for this conference. And the person who makes it all happen, Ewa Okołotowicz, Code Dive project lead. So we are going to have a very brief panel right now, and it'll be pretty simple. One person, one question, one answer, and we need to keep it brief because, again, in line with tradition, we got delayed. So just to check your editing skills. So the first question for you, Herb. How, in your view, have ICO C++ Standards Committee meetings evolved over the years?
Probably the biggest thing is the growth in the committee compared to, say, 15 years ago. So at this meeting, we just, less than 48 hours ago, finished our 6-day meeting here in Wrocław. Actually, some groups continued until almost Saturday dinner time, but because they were doing core language wording, and that's very important. But we were able to have over 220 people, 2/3 of them physically, the rest via Zoom. Very productive meeting, representing over 30 countries. So you already did this, but I want to do it for the committee. Thank you to Nokia for hosting us. It was a very productive meeting, and we really appreciate it. Thank you. But that has also caused us, as we grow, to have more subgroups to do work in parallel, and it's great to see all the people interested in C++ joining and working in different domains, and it's really helping progress the standard. C++ is very much a living language.
Wonderful, thank you so much. Hana, over to you. As a regular contributor to the C++ community, how do you view the role of those programming conferences? I mean, what does sharing knowledge mean for you?
For me, it means I learned a lot at my first conference. I met people, and it helped me grow exponentially. I went to CPBCon 2017, I think. I met people from a committee. Next year I gave a talk, and next year I gave a keynote at a conference. So it was like exponential. And I'm telling to all my friends, you should go to a conference and give a lightning talk. It will help you to meet people, start, and network.
Thank you so much. Jason, the aim of your C++ channel is officially making C++ fun and accessible.
Yes.
Tell us, how do you make C++ fun?
So when I first put that on the channel, I was working on projects that we made it so that you could interact with a game and you could learn C++ better that way. And I thought, hey, I'm making C++ fun. But since then, I think it applies to everything that I try to work on. I have puzzle books where I try to make things fun. And if you've been to any of my talks or my trainings, hopefully you think those are fun as well. I try to get everyone involved and interactive and engaged. And I think that's really what I'm trying to do in general.
And you try to make your characters pixelated, which is also good fun for old schoolers, I suppose.
Yeah, I have voxel characters all the time on my screens, yes.
Thank you for doing it. Bjarne, over to you. What has been the biggest surprise in C++'s development over the years, particularly from your perspective as its creator?
Two things really related. The first was the idea of using constructor-destructor pairs was there from the first week, and I have been somewhat surprised about how powerful that is and how it's at the bottom of most of the really important and powerful things in C++, and one of the things that distinguishes a language. And then secondly, not so happy, people don't seem to get exceptions. And especially they don't seem to get exceptions in connection with resource management, with constructor-destructor pairs. They try to use exceptions for everything, which is silly because it's for exceptional things. And they want to use it together with sort of pointers that are owning things, which is what you're supposed not to do because you've got constructors, destructors. The two things are closely related. And so one is great, way above what I could imagine. The other one is a bit of a disappointment. And I still hope people will get it right eventually.
Thank you. Taras, I was going through the agenda and the script and so on, and it looks like C++ is going to be mentioned today hundreds of times. I mean, literally people are going to have fantasies/nightmares about this one later today. Why is C++ so important for Nokia?
Thanks, Rafał. To be honest, I thought you are going to ask traditionally about the budget for next year. So many people asking that. It's confirmed already. I just to let you know.
Yeah,
But
next
talking about the importance of C++ for Nokia. So the modern telecommunication systems. These are huge systems and working in real time and close to real time environment. So there's efficiency requirement. It's actually critical for us. And here, obviously, C++ is meeting all the requirements. Plus, we are working on embedded systems. I know many of us are not paying on the attention on the cost of hardware because actually it's got decreasing from year to year. But basically, when you're working on a BTS system, those resources, you cannot assume those are unlimited. So here, C++ is a perfect tool allowing you to control your environment. Second thing I would like to mention, it's basically user-friendly. I'll call it like that because, a part of being efficient, you also need, talking right now as a business owner, you need to have people on the market that are advanced and that have unnecessarily skills and knowledge. And obviously, you can these days find a language that maybe will be a bit faster, maybe will be allowing the resources yet more strict. But simply you need to have people on the market to code your systems. And with the C++, there are no any issue. And last but not least, it's future-proof. So the telecommunication systems are changing. So we are not no longer talking only about the classical deployment. So it's Cloud Run, Open Run, or any run, how we are calling it. So it's important that the language that we are using, it's also developing. So on a dinner we had with Bjorn and Herb, I have openly asked, so what's the future of C++? And you know, and the answer was from Bjorn was more than confidence. So look how intensive work there is ongoing, and the last week is proving that. How many new people are joining every month in C++. So the backlog of items, the features that is there to be implemented, it's huge. So you know, this gives us a confidence that there is still a bright future in front of C++, and this gives me a confidence that Nokia and C++ is the right way together.
Thank you. Thank you so much, and thank you for future-proofing it for us. I mean, both C++ and CodeDive. And Ewa, you are the person who makes it all happen. And this year's main conference theme is Back to the Roots. Could you elaborate on that? Explain to us what this theme represents.
Last year, at this very stage, we had the pleasure of hosting real founders of the CodeDive conference. And they shared stories about its origin, deeply rooted in C++. Patricia, Dominic, Konrad, warm greetings to you. And actually, thank you, because thanks to you, I have a privilege to lead one of the biggest, but definitely one of the most exciting events in my life, this event. And as a Nokia, you've mentioned, Rafał, previously, we had a huge privilege to help to support co-organizing ISO C++ standards committee, the global committee meetings, which just have happened. And this is not a coincidence that straight after we have a CodeDive taking place. And guess what? We asked some of these brilliant minds to come over as our speakers, and they said yes. That's why they're just there. And because of that, and thanks to that, we got back to our roots, to the first and foremost topic of this conference, which is C++. And this is what stands behind Back to the Roots.
Thank you, Ewa. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. We'll hear from each of you later. So, yeah, this was our panel. Bjarne, if I can ask you to stay, you're up next with your talk. And, yeah, let's thank everybody for this wonderful panel.
Thank you very much.